Ever wonder why you sometimes feel like you are your own worst enemy? Or that nothing good will come out of your efforts? Or you consider yourself not capable? These intriguing questions and many more others confront us daily in the course of our everyday lives. The issue then is, how do we address these unpleasant questions so that we are not constantly bedeviled by them? How do we get solutions to the problem, and what is it all about? That leads us to the concept of negative self-thinking. Negative self-thinking could be appraised from different perspectives. In this video, we address the concept and how any person faced with such challenges can, in one way or the other, overcome it and become a better you. I will implore you to watch till the end, and you will thank me that you did, because the revelations here are very far-reaching. Negative self-thinking is a mindset where we tend to zoom in on our faults, failures, and shortcomings, while our achievements and successes take a back seat. It's like wearing a pair of glasses that only let us see the negatives, making the positives almost invisible. This is not a palatable situation. This habit of negative self-thinking is often deeply ingrained in our subconscious. It quietly infiltrates our daily lives, influencing how we perform at work, how we interact with others, and even how we perceive ourselves. It's like a silent puppeteer, pulling the strings from behind the scenes. Too bad, isn't it? Have you ever felt this way? Let us have your comments below. But here's the crucial part which many people do not know. Thoughts have power. Thoughts can influence our emotions, which in turn affect our behaviors and choices. Thoughts can therefore shape our reality, mold our perceptions, and influence our actions. So, it seems we're more influenced by our thoughts than we might realize. But what if we could change this? Hello? Then you are on the path to recovery and victory. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack everywhere you go. That's what negative self-thinking feels like. Now let's delve deeper into understanding the effects of negative self-thinking. Just like that heavy backpack, negative self-thoughts weigh us down, making even simple tasks seem mountainous. It's like walking through life with our own personal rain clouds, constantly dampening our spirits and obscuring the sun. And of course, nobody likes this to happen to them. One of the most immediate impacts of this pattern is a plummet in self-esteem, which might be very dangerous, as it could engender an inferiority complex and its associated variables, which may not be helpful or encouraging to one's well-being. Picture yourself as an artist. You are about to paint a masterpiece, but every stroke you make, you criticize yourself. It's not good enough. I can't do this. Eventually, you might stop painting altogether, believing you lack talent. This is what negative self-thinking does to us. It makes us doubt our abilities, our worth, and worst of all, ourselves. Nobody wants to be faced with this kind of situation or circumstance. Furthermore, this perpetual state of self-doubt can metamorphose into more severe conditions like anxiety and depression. It's like being trapped in a room with 1,000 mirrors, each reflecting our perceived flaws and failures. Trust me, this constant bombardment of negativity can make us feel anxious and overwhelmed, leading to a sense of hopelessness and despair. Another consequence of negative self-thinking is the tendency to self-sabotage. The fear of failure, born from our negative thoughts, often leads us to undermine our own efforts. For instance, you might have a dream of starting your own business, but those nagging negative thoughts, I am not smart enough, I don't have what it takes, might prevent you from taking the first step. Hence, a negative self-thinking becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, holding us back from reaching our full potential. But here's the thing, I make bold to say that these are not reflections of our true selves or our capabilities. These are distorted images created by our negative self-thinking. It's like trying to see our reflection in a funhouse mirror. The image is warped, not a true representation of who we are or who we actually represent. Negative self-thinking is a burden we don't need to bear. But how do we cast it off? How do we overcome it? What if you could replace that heavy backpack with a pair of wings? Picture that for a moment, whereby the weight is lifted, freedom is granted, and the exhilarating rush of soaring high above the clouds like an eagle. That is the power of positivity, positive thinking. It's not just a catchy phrase you see on inspirational posters. It's a mindset, a way of life. It's choosing to focus on your strengths, to celebrate your achievements, no matter how big or small they may seem. Instead of being your own harshest critic, you become your own biggest cheerleader. Instead of dwelling on the times you stumbled, you celebrate the times you stood back up. When we shift our focus in this way, the world around us begins to change. Not because anything external has altered, but because our perspective has. We start to see opportunities where we once saw obstacles. We find joy in the journey, not just the destination. Now, this isn't about denying reality or ignoring life's challenges. It's about choosing to approach them with a positive attitude, with resilience and determination. It's about acknowledging the storm, but focusing on the rainbow that follows. The benefits of this mindset are plentiful. Our mood improves, our confidence soars, our relationships flourish. We become more open to new experiences, more willing to step out of our comfort zones. Our quality of life enhances, not because our circumstances have necessarily changed, but because our outlook has. It's important to remember that positive thinking is not a switch that can be flipped instantly. It's a journey, a habit that needs to be nurtured and developed over time. But the rewards are well worth the effort. Sounds great, doesn't it? But how do we make this shift in thinking? Well, that's what we'll explore in the next segment. So stay tuned. We'll delve into strategies that can help us combat negative self-thinking and embrace the power of positivity. It's time to replace that heavy backpack with a pair of wings. Let's get ready to soar. It is noteworthy that changing our thinking patterns isn't easy, but it's definitely possible. So how do we combat negative self-thinking? There are several strategies we can employ, and today we're going to explore a few of them. First up is mindfulness. I believe you may have heard of this term before, but what does it really mean? How does it affect or resonate with positivity or negativity, as the case may be? Well, mindfulness is all about living in the present moment and accepting it without judgment. It's about calming the storm within our minds, focusing on the here and now, rather than worrying about the past or the future. By being mindful, we can observe our thoughts without getting caught up in them, thereby reducing the power they have over us. Next, cognitive restructuring. This is a fancy term for changing the way we think. When we catch ourselves falling into negative thought patterns, we can challenge these thoughts, question their validity, and replace them with more positive, realistic ones. For instance, instead of thinking, "I always mess things up," we could reframe this thought as, "I made a mistake this time, but I can learn and improve." And lastly, positive affirmations. These are positive statements that we repeat to ourselves in order to change our subconscious thought patterns. They can be as simple as, I am capable, or I am enough, or I can do it. These affirmations, when repeated consistently, can help to overwrite negative beliefs about ourselves, fostering a more positive self-image. These mantras continue to echo in our minds and in our subconscious. In fact, continuous recitation makes them to be embedded in us, especially when we are faced with challenges and we need that extra chi force or energy to propel and lead us to victory. Now, although these strategies may seem simple, they're not always easy to implement. It takes time, patience, and practice. But remember, the goal isn't to completely eradicate negative thoughts. That's not realistic, nor is it healthy. We all have negative thoughts from time to time. The goal is to change our relationship with these thoughts and to lessen their impact on our well-being. So I implore you to give these strategies a try. Start small, maybe with just 5 minutes of mindfulness a day, or by challenging one negative thought each day. And don't forget to be patient with yourself, for it's a journey, not a race. Remember, it's not about achieving perfection. It's about making progress, one thought at a time. So I ask you again, are you ready to become your own best friend? Let us have your answer and your comments below. We've journeyed together through the power of thoughts, the impact of negative self-thinking, and the transformative strength of positivity. We've unraveled strategies to combat the whispers of self-doubt, to replace them with affirming voices of and self-confidence. Remember, the first step towards a positive change starts with you. It's about acknowledging and challenging those negative thoughts. It's about replacing them with positivity, with self-belief. It's about being kind to yourself always. So, go ahead. Take that first step. Embrace the power of positivity. Become your own cheerleader. Your journey towards a more positive self starts now. And note that you're not alone in this journey. We're here, cheering you on every step of the way. Let me remind you that this video is not a panacea or a cure-all and does not replace your visit to see a psychologist and or a therapist to address any would-be associated issues related to negative self-thinking as it affects your life. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to invite your friends and family to join us for more motivational and inspiring videos. Remember, positivity is contagious. Let's spread it together. Here's to a more positive you. Thank you for watching.